Okay, so we're giving sun. Not mad at that. I'm about to title this video. Give me 1 second, y'all. You know I gotta have my notes. The title is plant-based. The good, the bad, and the veggies. Vegan 101. Ooh, tea. Okay, for real, let's talk. It's been about a year and a half since I launched like the whole It's Personal kind of campaign. I released the pilot episode in June 2024. I recorded the vlog and episode 1 in July 2024. And then I released my book, It's Personal, the nutrition guidance booklet. I know you already read it, so anyway, we're not going to talk too much about that. I released that book in August 2024, and there were a lot of fish-based meals that I cooked and discussed due to the fact that I was pescatarian. From 2022 until 2025, I was pescatarian. And yes, I always played around with the idea and the concept of being vegan, but in 2025, in February 2025, I officially went vegan. And I want to give this video to discuss the things I've learned, and I'm still learning, by the way. But this is like a nice update, a nice year roundup for 2025. So sit back and relax. And yeah, we're still getting personal. Let's get personal. So what's the definition of the word vegan? If you follow a diet that is vegan, you eat plant-based foods. No animal-derived products, no milk chocolate, no cow's milk, no goat's milk, no honey. It has to be plant-based. So this includes fruits, vegetables, tofu, beans, almonds. But those are like the raw ingredients. In terms of like the meal preparation, you also have to consider what's used. So if someone bakes a cake for you, if they put milk and eggs in the cake, it's no longer vegan. If they cover the almonds in chocolate, it's no longer vegan. If they cover the strawberries in honey, it's no longer vegan. So you have to be mindful of the ingredients in food. So a vegetarian diet is not the same as a vegan diet. I gave an intro about how we can't have any chocolate-covered almonds, any honey dipped in anything for a vegan diet. But with the vegetarian diet, the state or the form of the food cannot be meat, fish, or poultry at the time of consumption. So the milk chocolate on almonds would be okay for a vegetarian, but a beef burger patty is not okay because that is still being served as meat. The milk chocolate, it's been processed now. Yes, it came from an animal, but it's not in the meat state, so it's okay for a vegetarian diet. Mayonnaise and eggs are tricky. My dad doesn't do eggs, but he'll drink cow's milk. So, and I mentioned earlier that he's a vegetarian, or I think I'm going to discuss that later. So some vegetarians think it's okay. In this section, I'm going to talk about how I did it, how I came about being vegan. So yes, I did start officially eating only plant-based foods in 2025, but this journey started in college around 2013. I was halfway through college, and I was taking all these science classes for the nutrition program, things were getting like more stressful, and it started to affect me. Like I was getting sick from stress. I already like was nursing anemia, which I kind of still am nursing. Is better now. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm learning all these cool things in school. Let me just first of all go to the doctor because I was getting physically sick. Then I went and started to make some changes. First of all, when I went to the doctor, that's how I knew, after going to an allergist, that's how I knew I was allergic to eggs. Milk already made me feel really uncomfortable, so that was easy to like give up. But like I said, it's about the ingredients. So you're eating chips, you think you're just eating plain chips, but it got milk in it. So those are the types of things I had to be mindful of. So I started to eliminate things one by one. So I eliminated the egg from the ingredients, eliminated the milk from the ingredients. So ever since like 2017, I already wasn't eating milk and eggs. So where are we? So we know I started eliminating things from my diet in 2013. Now we get to 2017 and I've like mastered the elimination of dairy and egg products due to previous ailments and then lifestyle choices. This is like, okay, I don't want to take the medicine that will help me absorb it. I'm just going to not do it. So even in 2017, I was still eating meat and seafood. And that was still not as big of a deal as not eating milk and eggs, because what is like a human thing to do during a birthday? Get a cake, eat a cake. And that's what would be happening. People would have birthdays at work, and then I would just say no. And then they would ask me why, because it's crazy, right? To just like deny cake. So those are the kinds of things that I initially was dealing with even before I became fully vegan. But my coworker during that time, she coined a term for me like vegan-ish, because like I said, I was still eating meat and seafood products. But it's those little things that that actually bring people together, like cake, like desserts, donuts, things like that. And it was also tricky when I was like trying to just like get a coffee and a pastry, because now I have to make sure that the place I'm going to has that as an option. It was really tricky. But what I think was really eye-opening was like the cultural response from my family and just like the community, the Black community, the Nigerian community, the greater African community, like the DC community. Everybody is like, you're vegan? It was easier when I was like, oh, I'm pescatarian. But now it's like, damn, you don't even eat fish? We gotta straight up cook your things separately. It's been interesting, but somebody like me, you can't offend me with that. It's a learning opportunity for both of us, and both of us in the conversation, or all of us in the conversation. And my dad is vegetarian, so that also made it very, very easy for me. He's a vegetarian Nigerian man, born and raised in Nigeria, attended Southern University for undergraduate school, and we've been living here in the U.S. since the 80s. I wasn't born, obviously, in the 80s, but yeah, I'm going on and on. But it's like, you gotta have an additional conversation with a Black person. Like, they're like, okay, you are Black, even though I'm vegan. It's very funny. But we have people like Tabitha Brown. She has a whole plant-based cookbook, and she has like culturally significant dishes in there, which I think is great. Even just reading the introduction of her book, I learned so much. So it is possible to be Black and vegan. I mean, we're doing it out here, and I've met other Black vegans, and we have some cool combos. But I do think it's worth noting, you know, and then even when you're Nigerian, like the Maggie, no, we can't eat it. We can't eat it unless it's a vegetable bouillon. We can't do the Maggie. It's just been really eye-opening. And the next part of the video, I'm gonna talk about how it's benefited me. And then the last part, I'm gonna talk about the truth. And I'm being mindful of saying the cons because this is just me, like I said, it's gonna affect people differently. If you wanna lose weight quickly, and if you really follow this vegetable eating, meat, seafood elimination situation, you're gonna lose weight, even if that's not your intention. So that could be beneficial to you if you really struggle in that area. It was beneficial to me because I struggle with a lot of bloating in my midsection. And I think that the increased fibers, the increased nutrients has really been beneficial to me. My skin, right now this is cheating. I have on some makeup, I'm right under the sun, but I have eczema prone skin. And I noticed some changes quickly, even before I became vegan, just giving up the diet, harmful things to my diet, like the eggs and the milk. What affects your gut is gonna show on your face. So I think once I stopped that, the difference showed on my face kind of quickly, which if you want something quick, that'll help you quickly, if your body can handle it, and if you can handle it. In my next section, I'm gonna talk about how it required discipline and like kind of like more of the journey. So let's get real. Let's talk about the truth here. The truth is that being plant-based vegan requires a lot of discipline. So I would say that yes, it was a challenge and it involved some difficulties. I don't want to say it was difficult, but it was not easy. Like, you can't just wake up one morning and say, okay, everything that I'm used to, I'm going to just not do. You have to learn it. So I noticed the weight changes and I just like attributed that to being vegan. You know, you learn about yourself with that. I noticed the shortness of breath and some of like my energy changes because now I can't afford to not remember to eat, or, you know, I can't fast the same. So I need that energy from food, period. Then you get into the fact that I'm already trying to like combat anemia, or I've been combating it since I was a kid. So it's one of those things where it's like, you have to always be paying attention. It becomes like a child. That's like my best way to describe it. I become my own child because I'm just like, oh my God, am I okay? Like, do I need to eat? How's my protein? You know, oh my God, blood sugar. Now sorry for that. I am in wellness, right? I'm a nutritionist. If somebody came to me and told me they wanted to be vegan, I could not greenlight that immediately because you're going to drastically affect your blood sugar. You may not lose weight and get all the benefits that another person have. You may faint. You may, God forbid, no more with us. So you have to know what you're doing. Like I said, first things first, I went to the doctor. And I want to go again in 2026. In February 2026, it will officially be a year. And I start things in February. I've noticed that about myself. So when I started being pescatarian, that was in February. So yes, that was in February 2022. So anyway, you need to know that it's not for everyone, like I said. It affects your hormones. It affects your wallet. Oh my God, money. You actually can save a lot of money because meat, eggs, all that stuff is expensive. But you have to buy and cook it like instantly. That's the only thing. So it's still an investment because you have to repeatedly go to the stores, or, you know, it doesn't last. Produce goes bad quicker. And these are for my vegans that is like eating vegetables. Now, we have to also be mindful of the vegans that just gave up the meat and the seafood. They are comfortable with, their diet. They just eliminated those things. You gotta watch your blood sugar still, your protein, your thyroid, your weight change. Will you like it? Because you are reducing one thing, but you need to replace it with something, in my opinion. So if you are not eating vegetables as a vegan, I encourage you to eat more fruit and vegetables. I really do. But consult a doctor. Like I said, this is just about me. I love vegetables. I've learned to cook so many. So that's been like my journey. But yeah, I wanted to name this The Truth. I didn't want to name it Cons because it's so different. So as a nutritionist, a wellness girl, as Precious, am I gonna tell everyone to go vegan? No. It scares me to think of somebody going vegan when I don't know anything about them. I need your whole lab profile. I need to know your blood sugar levels. I need to know your protein levels. I need to know if you're anemic, what type of anemia you have. I need to know your last menstrual cycle. I need to know your business, you know what I'm saying? So it's tricky, and this is just encouraging people that it could be done, but you need to do it the right way so you don't hurt yourself. You easily can hurt yourself if you're not doing this right, and I don't want that for y'all. So let's do it right, let's do it together, and let's talk. So I think I covered everything. Thank you for watching this video. If I didn't cover everything, feel free to comment below. Let me know what you still have questions on, what you're still curious about. And thank you for watching again. See you soon. Bye.